Hey guys, welcome back. Wow, another video so close in proximity, temporally speaking. How exciting. It's such a pleasure to connect with you guys again. And today I think that it would be a really great idea to do a quick video to help you acclimate your energies to the energetic portals that are happening right now. Some of you are very sensitive, so I know that you're already feeling it. For some of you already, Yes, I'm feeling into you. Oh, this looks good. Some of you are already on the other side of this portal. So, hey, welcome. Um, and so this video is going to bring through whatever energies you, the listener, needs around this time. So any energetic support is what I'm saying. I'm here to provide for you. And excuse me, depending on who you are. Okay, I just heard from somebody. I need throat clearing, so we'll get some of that going. Some of you, I see some work that could be done in the lower chakras. I'm feeling my uh, lower back area feeling away, which is telling me that some of you are like me over there. I'm feeling some of you have some issue with the right wrist that has to do with mother issues slash grandmother issues going on there, maternal line for somebody here. And for you, whoever that is, the message. This is a quick clearing for that one. The message is get to work doing what? Writing. You're a writer. You have stories to tell. You have things to tell. So for somebody here, you're being asked to guide others with your words and to be meticulous with everything. Now it's interesting that they said meticulous, and I also feel that energetically speaking, with that word meticulous, the link is that that's why I guess whoever you are, the one who has to be doing the writing, why you are drawn to my messages. First of all, thank you. And they're not my messages, they're messages that are coming through my channel. And it's a pleasure to serve you in that way with a capital S, ding, serve. The reason why is because they want you to be at the right vibration. And if you are still kind of wondering, well, what do you mean the right vibration, Jay? Notice how I just stumble over my words, and that's a demonstration of not being at the right vibration. So I just put out the weekly reading yesterday. My bad, guys. My bad. Midweek. Midweek reading for this week. But one of the main messages or the primary message there is that for a lot of people, the service that they have signed up to do and that they've asked to do requires them to be at a certain threshold or at a certain frequency, so that, and it has nothing to do with anyone's value being better than anybody else or their mission being better than anybody else. That's not what we're not serving the ego on this channel. It simply has to do with the information that you are needing to access in order to do your work. And when we think about lock and key, it's not lock. I mean, it's a lock and a key that is aligned with that, because it's either you're at the vibration that you can retrieve it or you're not. And so that's why, again, and as we said in the video yesterday, and this is for everybody in general, whoever just wants to hear it, as we said in the video yesterday, it's not that you're denied things. Remember, in God's kingdom and creation and all that is, when I say God, I mean the Most High, whether you call it source, whether you call it beyond time and space, whatever, the ancient source. They don't they notice I said they. I get it. I peeped that, guys. But you're not denied anything because of what you are. What are you? The son of God, meaning the manifestation, the creation of the Most High. So that comes with access to, say it with me, everything in existence, right? And so always remember in your back pocket, as a child of God, as a son of God, I have been given everything and denied nothing. So yet when you sit and you listen and you look around, you're like, but Jay, I just got denied paid time off from my whatever. That's because look at where you are right now. You're temporarily in a world or a projection. That's what this world is. It's a thought projection of limitation. But that doesn't change what you are, right? But what you're being down here is a very filtered down version of what you are. And it's so filtered down, it's so dense that you actually think that you are a person. You think you're a human. You think you are, you have a body. You think that you are different from Jonelle. You think that you have personality, like individuation is where you are right now. But remember what Buddha, one of the great teachers, we've had quite a few great teachers on this planet, right? Um, and one of the great teachers, what did he find out? What did he come to teach, basically? What did he finally embody and then come to teach? That this world is illusory, right? It's an illusory world, but you know, he still was here until his time was up, until his soul's curriculum was up. So you're here, and thank you for being here. And if you're here and you're listening to this video, then you have some type of soul agreement to be of service. And again, these are details you don't even need to delve into. You don't need to occupy yourself with all of that. Some of us do like to, because we like details. We like to know, well, what am I doing? Where have I been? What am I supposed to do? Blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, just do your best. And doing your best must start with doing what's best for you. And doing what's best for you has nothing to do with self-elevating in a way that puts other people down, or that requires you to you know what I mean, to distinguish yourself from others in a way that leads you to have an idea that you have more value. Here's a really great, so to be of the highest service, the subtleties, it's so subtle, and we talked about this a lot in yesterday's video, right? So go ahead and check it out. It's the weekly reading. Oh, good question. The weekly reading, if you're looking for the title, it says, yeah, December, it says December 8th to December 14th. Sorry. Having like multiple conversations here, including my ego in my mind as we're all chatting. So let me address all of that. Also, I have some team members chatting with me while I'm chatting with you guys. So thank you guys. Please do keep bringing that information. But what else was I going to say? Yes, the subtleties. So a quick example of the subtleties is they're so funny. They're laughing at me. Okay, anyway, let me sorry, let me get focused. A quick subtlety to show a quick example to show you the subtlety of what we're asking for when we're talking about service and being in frequency. For example, yeah, gratitude. We know we love gratitude. We know gratitude is a panacea. It is a cure-all. You know, whatever is going on in your life and anyone's life, if you can cultivate a level of gratitude, it literally just wipes away, right? Stuff. Yeah, you may be having the crappiest today by objective standards, so bad that everyone and their mother wants to donate to you in a GoFundMe just like that and make you a 2 millionaire because they're hearing your story, right? And you could be having such a bad time, such a bad life, whatever. But if you could, even in that moment of feeling so low on yourself, even just cultivate a tiny bit of gratitude, whether that is like, wow, this is the worst, but at least I have, at least I'm still here. In parentheses, that means I can still take actions. That means I can still make choices, right? You may be having the worst thing, but then you hear something somewhere else in the world and you're like, wow, but for the grace of God, there go I, right? Whatever it is to take you to that point where you can have a shift that takes you from focusing on pain, even if temporarily, to appreciation of something that you've got going on that was being eclipsed by this focus on your pain, which is understandable, right? That's a blessing. That's a miracle. That's what you've given yourself. Because remember, a miracle is just a change in perception. That's all it is. Healing is just healing your perceptions. That's all it is. Now, we understand that idea of gratitude. We all aspire to it because we see it as a very divine thing. And it is. It's divine. It's one of those divinities like grace and forgiveness and all this. But when you're operating, and I'm talking at a high level where your actual knowledge, your actual wisdom is that comes from, and wisdom that comes from knowing. Down here in this realm of perception, you can't know anything. That's why you can't judge anything. You can only perceive of things. And that's why these perceptions keep shifting. You're living a whole life believing something is true based on what you've learned, you've been acculturated to believe, you've experienced and made meaning out of, and this and that, symbology and all of that. And then you hear one thing the next day and it opens your heart, it changes your mind, it changes your heart, and now your perception has shifted, right? So these are perceptions, they shift, they come and go, they shift. And so therein lies your ability, your potential to shift a perception into what? Something higher. You always want to be moving higher. Higher is more loving, it's more expansive, it's more self-accepting, it's more other accepting. Then we start getting into these words like it's more tolerant, it's more whatever, right? But really, when you're operating at the highest level, where your actual wisdom is outside of this time and space, where you are at factory settings, look at this deck wants to come in again, where you're at factory settings, guess what? When you hear these um, really great terms like gratitude, your definition of it shifts altogether. Because down here, the way we, even our highest definition and feelings and everything about gratitude are premised or is premised on what? Inequality. And here's the example. Thank you, God, but for the grace of God, there go I. Wow, God, thank you for what I have, because if I were in that situation, it would suck, for lack of a better word. So, wow, at least I'm not there. See the boom, the separation. So, thank you for what I do have. But, and yes, that's good, but it's not all the way, because God is not about separation. The perception that we, in our truest form down here in this realm of perception, the truest perception that we could move to and that we can cultivate and practice every day is to realize there's no separation. We think we see separation. We think we see Harry. I don't know who Harry is. No names. I don't know anybody. I literally don't know someone named Harry. So if that's your name, God bless you. But I'm not thinking about you. But if we see Harry over there and he's having a horrible time and we observe that, and then we notice that we're having a less horrible time and we thank God for that, and maybe even shoot him a prayer or not for Harry. See, the problem there is we are recognizing here's the big word and our word, a reality. In our mind, the reality for us is that we're two different beings. And that's Harry and I'm Jonelle. And Harry's having a crappy time. And I'm having a less crappy time. And I'm thankful. Now that'll be enough for regular human being gratitude, like, thank you, God, I'm so thankful that I'm not suffering like the rest of the world, or like blah blah blah. But God's not going to be, the highest level of God Almighty, the way, that ancient source for reals, high frequency. Remember, we're talking about high frequency, divine frequencies. They're going to look at you like, what are you talking about? It's like wah, 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 because they in the mind of knowing there is no separation. And so all of these even lofty ideas that we aspire to, the forgiveness and the gratitude and all of this, it's the way we see it, it's built upon, oh yeah, and the giving and the receiving, they're adding, is built upon an idea of separation and inequality. So while we can aspire to that down here, and we must go beyond it, because that's not the end point. In fact, a definition of gratitude that's in alignment with knowing, with it, with which is in alignment with divine wisdom, your higher wisdom. Now we're getting into higher self territory, Holy Spirit territory, not religious. Okay, hand of God, hand of source, that lovely go between that can help bridge us at this frequency with that ancient source, which is at a frequency that's just so high, it's too high for us to even traverse from where we are. So that's why we need that go between, the Holy Spirit, and all of the lovely, great teachers that we've had along the way, right? They assist us with reaching those frequencies. Now, a divine, let's just use that word, a divine definition of gratitude would be one that recognizes us as we are. So if you can look out into the world and see yourself, right? You may even say, oh, my brothers and sisters. But even higher than that is a knowing there are no brothers and sisters. It's just me. That's the oneness mindset because we are one. And if you're not seeing one when you look out into the world, then you're not there yet. And here we are on earth. Of course, we're not there yet because we're in a realm of polarity for reasons, go ask your soul, God bless. But we can aspire to step into and step closer to our divine consciousness. And the way to do that, and here is the point I'm trying to make, is to start to embody a mindset of not separation, oneness. Okay? Oneness. Another word that we hear that means the same thing is CC. The Christ consciousness has nothing to do with religion. The Christ consciousness relates to or refers to the mindset, right? It's divine consciousness, the mindset that recognizes the oneness, recognizes the true self, recognizes factory settings. That's to use it in a modern context here. You back to factory settings, what you are. That's your divinity. That is your divine self. That is the self that always was, always will be, and that is right now. But you just can't recognize it. And it's understandable because look where we are in this plane of existence, which is the opposite from what we are. Because down here, we are temporarily experiencing the opposite of what we are. And I'll show you, we are one. That's reality. It's one self. We are just one self. And it sounds weird, but that's it. But down here, we see many. There's Billy and Bobby and Joni and JJ and Parvati and all these. We see many. What are we? We are eternal. Down here, we are impermanent, right? We're all gonna pass away at some point. It's ephemeral. Buddha was like, hey, hey guys, here's a heads up, and we understand that. What you are is reality. You're real. You have substance. That substance it's an actual substance. It's love. Down here, we do have substance, but we also have illusion, which is nothingness, right? Now, down here, we'll be like, oh, but Jay, these are both something, right? Yeah, you're going to see a lot of some things down here, but because it's in things, right? This is a planet of manifestation. So whatever is going on in the consciousness, the thought space, the mind space is going to take on form down here. But mastery requires the D word, discernment. And discernment is not about discerning, oh, what's good and what's bad and what's up and what's down. No, discernment is about being able to distinguish what has substance, what is real with a capital R, what is of love. Love is the frequency and the vibration and the fabric. Think of it as the fabric of source, of creation. And you need to learn to distinguish that from what is nothing. But always remember, and here's the mastery tip, it's the best practices tip, down here in this plane of manifestation, just think about Earth as a place where whatever is running through anybody's mind, including your own, will be made form here. People, places, things, situations, ideas, those are forms that precipitate, you can say, from consciousness. But the quality of your consciousness is either going to be love slash meaningful slash real slash substantial, having substance, divine substance, or it's going to be nothing. Now, here in the physical plane, again, you will see the forms of both of those things, nothingness and everything, value, valueless, meaning, meaningless, existing. Look, and what's the opposite? I have no words for it because it's not real. It doesn't exist. I hope that makes sense. And the image, an example that the guides gave me this morning while I was lying in bed is us around the campsite, all of us like, hey guys, hey, let's tell a story. And I'll tell the story, right? And they showed me a card in my mind that, of course, where is it? Right. But anyway, it's an image of someone sitting by a campfire and there's smoke just coming up, right? It has a Native American vibe to it. Now imagine we're at a campfire and we're all just enjoying each other and loving each other, and it's nighttime. So we have to tell stories. Hey guys, want to hear a story? That's me giving you a look around like, hey guys, want to hear a story? And everyone's like, yeah, okay. Everyone snuggles in a little bit more. We've got some s'mores on the campfire. And then I take some smoke, I inhale it and then I blow it out, and everyone looks up at the smoke because now in the smoke I'm starting to illuminate this story and I can make the smoke dance and take form, and so it you get to see visually what it is that I'm telling you the story about. Hey guys, so let me tell you a story about this person. We'll name them Bunny. I don't know who's Bunny. Cute. We'll name them Bunny. So Bunny decides one day to take a trip, and he flies into this new realm. And then here he is. And then I tell you this adventure about Bunny and all these things about Bunny's ups and his downs and his lefts and his rights and his sadnesses, his joys, his griefs, his loss, his Lieutenant Dan moments where he rails at God and all sorts of stuff. I just tell him. And before long, you guys are feeling Bunny's plight. You're moving in and out of the words I'm telling you, and you're sad and you're crying when Bunny lost his mother, and then 2 days later Bunny found out he had this is rather specific, Graves' disease. I don't know, that's maybe for somebody here while we're telling the story. Graves' disease, and Bunny lost his creativity and Bunny lost his will. You're going, you're with me. And you're there with me when I tell you about how Bunny turns his back on everyone and goes to seek his fortune, and he has a chance to help people with what he was given, and he decides not to because he's remembering all these past stories about how the people weren't there for his come up, right? And Bunny was just like, no, they don't deserve this. And you hear about when Bunny, even goes to jail and loses everything and then wins his court case and is exonerated and remembers God, but then he's still so angry that you get the point. Bunny's out here living lifetimes. And we love Bunny and we identify with Bunny and we hate all those other people who hurt Bunny because how dare they, right? And before long, we're all crying, we're all celebrating his joys, and we're looking and we're seeing the smoke just dancing and dancing. And then finally we come to Bunny's, Bunny didn't know it, but it's his last lifetime in this little space, that he created, this smoke space that he doesn't know it's smoke. For him, it's a solid. Because you don't think Bunny jumped out of a few buildings in some of these lifetimes? He did. And he felt bad about it. And we felt bad. And the world was hurt and all of this, right? But eventually we started to see Bunny wisen up and we saw him start to learn, things about himself and start to love himself and all sorts of stuff. And we grew along with him because we empathize. We empathize. And then I look around at all of you guys and I say, do you know, before we get to see Bunny's final scene, what do you think Bunny learned? What do you think his last thoughts will be? And then everyone goes around, we kind of think about it, we share our ideas, and I should have been better, or I'm so glad I came here and I did this, or oh, I wonder what the next adventure is, or oh, now I know who I am, or no, or who was I, or maybe Bunny's having regrets, all sorts of stuff. Everybody has an idea. Of course, these ideas are only reflecting their own internal space, whether or not they know it. But then we turn to Bunny and we see what Bunny realizes. And then Bunny looks off somewhere. We don't know where he's looking. And then he closes his eyes and he says, oh, this is not real. And the minute he says that, all of the smoke disappears. And that's it. And then we look at each other and we're still around the campsite. Wow, Bunny's gone. And everyone's looking at me and they're like, oh, that was so fun. Now you would expect that people are going to look at me and be like, where's Bunny? And nobody's confused. Bunny was confused. And while we were riveted watching him, yeah, we got a little confused too. You know, we were feeling Bunny. We were there picking up all the items he was picking up and identifying with him and learning and growing. And now that he's gone, nobody's like, oh, because what? He wasn't real. It was smoke, remember? Remember in the beginning when I said, hey guys, you guys ready for a story? And we're like, okay. And then the first thing I did was blow the smoke. And within the smoke arose what? Bunny. Arose something. And then we named him Bunny. And then we were so into the story that we, what? The I word, identified with Bunny. And we all had thoughts. We all were riveting. Don't go in there, Bunny. Get him a left hook, you know? But at the end, when Bunny makes this whole journey, he realizes, oh, look, here's Bunny. Oh, cute. Hey, Bunny. He realizes, they're like, hold it up. He realizes, oh, what's for dinner? Because Bunny was not real. It's the same with these personas. They're not real, right? And so you may ask, well, then why are we here? And I will gently ask you to ask yourself that question. Because you are currently having a temporary experience over lifetimes as what? What's your name? Bunny. Okay. But we understand there is no bunny, there is no spoon, right? Bunny isn't real. There's no time, space, there's no earth, there's no this and that. It's all part of the smoke, the illusion, right? Where the real children of God, of which you are one, feeling individuated, you're having dreams. And guess what? Here we are at the campsite, and then all of you children of God, we all understand, oh, we were having a dream inside of a dream. Bunny was our dream inside of this dream where we all think we are brothers and sisters, but we all know for reals, because we're at a higher dimension and Bunny was, that we're actually one. We just enjoy playing with each other, enjoying each other. What is that? That is self-love, because we're all one self. If you're a consciousness being, that's all anything is, we're just one huge mind. When you love yourself, right? What does that look like? What does self-love look like? It looks like love. It looks like joy. It looks like entertaining yourself. It looks like doing things to have new experiences, right? Discovering, it's really self-discovery. Down here, you think you're traversing Mount Everest. You think you're learning new books and doing all this stuff. All you're doing is moving around in your own mind. So today we ask you, in your bunny consciousness, we ask you that the Son of God, who is just having a dream, but really your reality is a divine creation of all that is. You are in and of all that is. You are source itself, having a little individuation of this sonship, so to speak. And Bunny and all his lifetimes are just one of the many little games that you play in your cute little mind that God gave you because you are part of God and you get to enjoy and have fun. God is love, and that's all there is. What did we say before? Substance versus no substance, right? Love versus fear. This is a planet of fear, but we understand that fear is not real. These things aren't real. All right. So I hope that kind of helps. I don't know if I served it well in any way, in the way that they want me to kind of say it. But the reason why we're bringing that through today is because Spirit wants you, whoever you are, to wake up a little further now. Your level of awakening is no longer one where Spirit is giving you new ideas and giving you more puzzle pieces that are built upon separation mindset. No, you've graduated, you've come into alignment with higher frequency, higher awareness, higher concepts, higher consciousness. And so therefore, what spirit is giving to you now as your homework is to work on, it's the CC, Christ consciousness. It's nothing to do with religion. Okay. What it has to do with is getting back to awareness of what you are. You are one lovely child of God, having a very, very, very temporary, lower dimensional experience within yourself, within God, within creation, within all that is. You're having an experience of yourself with yourself. You're being a bunny. You're being bunny right now. But remember, in reality, there is no bunny. Just like there's no spoon, there's no cup, there's no Jonelle, there's no whatever. And so maybe we'll ask, well, why am I here? And why do I need to focus on this oneness, but yet I'm here in this space of duality? Well, again, that's part of your self-exploration. Connect with your higher self, connect with your soul. And also, where would you go? A lot of you have planetary recall. Earth is not your first place. You've been having these experiences on other planets, in other realms, in other spaces. Earth is just one of those places where you get to go and experience yourself. But Earth comes with its own, its own stuff. It's a manifestation planet where everything that you're thinking and everything is going to be made manifest here in form, especially if you put a lot of what's the word, momentum behind it, a lot of consistency. So for those of you who really struggle with low self-worth, myself included, right, who struggle with low self-worth while you're down here, got to be really working on that, because what you're doing is whatever you're struggling with, quote unquote, think of it as constantly beating a drum of that vibration. And so you really need to work on interrupting that thought pattern that you have. And that's why we have to do the shadow work. That's why we have to do our somatic healing and whatever other modalities your mind currently believes can help you, right? Because remember, the reality is you're fine. But down here, you're holding these limited beliefs. And it's the limited beliefs in your mindset that render you vulnerable and susceptible to being hurt, whether it's physical, emotional, right? And so that's why souls are being in service down here, because we're coming to help right the minds of people around us. But of course, people, we, myself included, we all still have such a belief in things outside of us being able to save us, that telling someone, oh, just wish it away versus get surgery for it is just not going to work, because the belief is too strong. Shoot, I'm not there, but let's talk about these surgical options. But for me, I've been doing a lot of transfer work. So I've been doing a lot of work on the mindset for quite some time. So there are certain things that I will heal in more non-physical ways now, and have seen results, than with things that, modalities that we've been using for centuries that are more body oriented. But anyway, it's a trajectory. We're all working towards it. So those people who have chosen to be of service, Spirit is asking you, and you've already been doing it, whether you know it or not, right? But if you're watching this, Spirit is again handing you more. And the more is coming to you. Look at him, please, for some more. The more is coming to you. Why? Because you're ready for it. What are you ready for? Ready to see more of what? Yourself. What's yourself? Your one self, your truth, the light, your reality of what you are. And so you must start working towards cultivating the big O. And before you figure out what you think that O means, I'm just going to tell you, it's oneness, right? So a lot of you may have already been on your oneness journey, obviously, maybe for a couple lifetimes, who knows? And that oneness, again, another word is the Christ consciousness. Again, don't even bother picking up certain books to find out about that because it's not a religious thing. Let spirit come to you and work through you and direct you to whatever, even if it's the side of a bust, to help you to assemble what this oneness, what this doctrine is, what this ideology is for you. Some of you have been working with the raw materials, right? And some of you work with Bashar, some of you work with all sorts of of let's just say I'm just going to say discourses that come through people and beings and sources and all that. But the true source is yourself, isn't it? And so part of your journey now is to really focus on cultivating a greater sense of oneness, which is the opposite of separation mindedness. And that means that moving forward from now on, you gotta work on, yes, acknowledging, oh, that's Jamie and Billy and Bobby, but reminding yourself, oh, that's myself. At the true level of reality, that's me. Okay. And that's when you start to understand that all these ancient adages that have been given to us, like, oh, the golden rule, do unto others as you would have done unto you, only love is real. Those things are for reals. They're such heavy hitters because why? Because they recognize reality. Do unto others as you would have done unto you because there is no other. It's just you no matter where you go. Just like with God, I am God and there is no other. We are individuations of God. We're inside and of God. God made or created us, right? But it doesn't change the reality that there is only one and there is no other. We just have a perception that there is many. So you have to start down here acknowledging the perceptions that you're seeing around you, seeing that these other aspects of you, source, God, the one, but temporarily having their own little experiences and aspects and vibrations and stuff, and seemingly moving independently of you, right? Let them live. Let them cook, right? Let yourself cook. Because who are you? You're source. But down here, source wants to express and experience itself as a certain personality, a certain, you know, vibration, a certain whatever, right? And that's you. And that's why you have to love yourself because there will never be another you. Just like me, Jonelle. Hi. Yeah, we may, the whole universe is mathematical and all that stuff. And that means I may have a very long coded formula, but there's no one else, no other aspect in creation that shares that very long set of codes. There's going to be a one digit off or one decimal or one whatever off. You're the only one who can be you in this expression of God. And so that's why whatever you are in this lifetime, be the best you that you can be. But understand here, look at the hand, understand though, with the mastery that the little you that you are experiencing right now, because you're source, you just forgot. And so that's why you see sources other than you. Okay. But you're experiencing this little persona. Let's call it a persona. And this is the only lifetime you'll get to be this persona. So experience it. Be the best that you can be. And when we say the world needs you, oh, that's for reals true. Because you know what the world is. Come on, you know what it is. Say it with me. The world is an illusion. Hiding what? What? What's the reality? It's you. Everything is just you. And right now you're playing as this persona with other yous, the other parts of you, which just seem separate because your mind is separate. You're having separate mindedness. But you're getting on in maturity down here. on earth in your earth life. So you're like, let me step out. Let me stop mucking about and start doing my homework, right? I know my first book that I need to pick up, oneness. I have to start recognizing myself of outside of myself. And that means I have to hold myself to a higher standard. I have to treat others as I would treat myself. Big problem. If you don't like yourself, what's going on? So if you're treating others better than you treating yourself, what's going on? If you're treating yourself much better than you're treating other people, what's going on? It doesn't matter what permutation that is. The fact is, it's still founded on an idea of separation. When you have oneness, you realize, oh, yes, I can say these are my brothers and sisters while we're here on this earth plane, but I understand the reality is that it's me. We are all one because there is only one. There's no we, right? And so you have to really start to define things in alignment with that oneness doctrine. Gratitude. Let's go back to that example. If we're saying thank you to God, thank you to our Father, thank you to Creator, whatever word you want to use, thank you to all that is, thank you to Source, thank you to everything, because it's everything, right? That's it. Thank you to, yeah, I said it, all that is. Thank you to what I am at my highest. Thank you to God Almighty, whatever you want to say. But that thank you at this time of your spiritual evolution is going to shift from saying thank you for a reality that is premised upon separation to thank you to a reality that recognizes the oneness of all. Example, the oneness, looking at gratitude and thank you based on a premise of separation looks like, oh, thank you, God, for, I know everyone else is struggling right now. Thank you so much for putting food on my table, even though there are other people out there in the world who don't have it. Wow, down here, we're like, yeah, do it. Look at you having gratitude. The world needs more people with gratitude like you. Yeah, sure. But it's kind of, gratitude should be a given. So, we're kind of stuck in remedial times right now. How do we move past that and go beyond it to more truth? We shift our idea of gratitude and we say, thank you, God, for the fact that every single soul down here has access to everything, and we've been denied nothing. Now, that may be a hard sell for a lot of people because they're still caught in illusions and they're looking left and right. Okay, but that person has no food on their table. That person has no arm. That person can't even get out of bed. And that person is wealthy AF. And how, and you're going to tell me that that people aren't even, that some people aren't being denied things? Oh, but you remember, this isn't what we are. And you're not here because God put you on this planet. You're here out of a choice you made to have a temporary experiment. Look, I was going to say experience. They talked over me and said experiment. This is an experiment. You volunteered. Just because you can't remember why you came to this planet doesn't give you a license and a pass to blame God out of your own ignorance. When you do that, when you do that and you have all these blames and you look around and you're huffing puffing, you're mad and you're big mad and all of this, what you're actually doing is you're failing to recognize what you are. You are powerful. It's not that somebody locked you down here, somebody threw away the key and jailed you, or you're in some soul trap or some karmic loop, or this is a prison planet, or this is all that doctrine. Get rid of it. It's fear-based, it's separate mindedness, and it's doing its job to separate you from the truth. What is the truth? You're too damn powerful to be down here by any other reason but the C word. What's the C word? Choice. Whose choice is that? It's yours. But you forgot. And that's why we're here to have this experiment. I want to see, notice I want to say experience again, but there's like experiment slash experience of what? Forgetfulness of the I am not. That I'm going to be down here and I'm going to be a bunny instead of my true self. But don't act for a second like that changes what you really are. So when you come to have readings with me, And when you speak with your guides and stuff, we're not seeing you as this little you persona. We're seeing you as that down here. We're seeing all this false illusion you've got around you. And then we're seeing your reality. Oh my God, stop. Look at this card. I just, as I'm saying this, I'm tapping this card. I just noticed, whoa, look, because I don't have my glasses on. So thank you for showing me that, right? What do we have down here? Four of Swords. If he is not sitting here dreaming, I don't know what this man's doing. Okay. So wake up and stop acting like you don't know. Act like you know. What am I telling you that you are? Look at the knowing card. Illumination, the sun card is just coming out. What are you? And look at how we have this beautiful big, etheric looking, almost like a little sun with a little stem. Look what you're holding here in the land of form, a sunflower. What do you think you are? You're just a reflection of what? Source, all that is. But you forgot because look at you down here and all this sunflowers. So what you're holding, you think you're seeing sunflowers. All you're doing is experiencing fractally what you are. The same way you'll have a cute little broccoli broccoli stem with little florets on it on your plate and then walk right out into nature and see a big tree that looks like you're just a little tiny bug in a land of broccoli, right? It's fractal. You are source, but you forgot that. When you step into higher spiritual, let's say spiritual awareness, when you take that shift into higher consciousness, you stop acting out down here like you don't know. And the first thing you're going to know is that you need to step into higher integrity, take responsibility. Why did you say that? Why did you do that? Why did you feel that? What happened? Do you know yourself? What are you doing to take actions to know yourself? Is anybody out here doing their meditation? Is anyone getting quiet? Is anyone watching their energetic consumption, the things they watch on TV, things they hear, the people they have around them? Is anyone here doing their clearings? Is anyone here doing their shielding? What are we doing? A lot of people are out here blaming God. God has nothing about this. The creator has created you and let you loose. And look where you found yourself, volunteering to enjoy an experiment of otherness, of being in a false state of duality. But even you, in all of this dreaming, cannot erase the signs of what you are. So much so that you're down here holding a very, very similar, same pretty much pattern as what you are, but you don't even recognize it because you see all these other flowers out there and you think that, right? And now you're dreaming yourself into further separation. I'm better than this and better than that person, and I'm more worthy or I'm less worthy. And all of that is just fodder. It's just fodder. You're just acting. You're just acting down here. So when spirit says, wake up, spirit is talking to you, the you inside that knows what you are. We're talking to Bunny. This is when Bunny gets his wake up call. But they're like, Bunny. Bunny's like, whoa, the ground shakes. Who there? Who that? God, is that you? Bunny, Bunny. They just say, Bunny, you are not who you think you are. What? My name is Bunny Alexander on planet Earth, but the power of the Christ compels you. And all the Bunny's going into it, right? And spirit from a higher level, they just have to laugh. Your guides will have to laugh on some level because they see Bunny going through it. But they know that there's no Bunny. They know. And so we're here to give you that tap. Doot, 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 wake up. In all your dreaming, look at all these dreaming. You're so creative. God's children are creators, right? Because they're made in the image of the creator. That's what we do. We create worlds, we create ideas, we create everything. But on this planet, we're in a planet where there's some challenges. The challenge here in this universe actually is polarity. So you're going to have light and you're going to have dark. and all that comes along with that. And so you also have, as a sovereign being, one of your gifts is the choice. The choice is, do you want to continue being what you're not, the I am not, experiencing and believing in the illusion, or would you like to get back to business? And which means get back to recognizing what you are, cultivating awareness of what that entitles you to: choice, sovereignty, personal responsibility, creativity. Notice that one clicked for the personal responsibility. Um, you, you're the king of your reality. And one of the things we have to do is take ownership. That means stop blaming God. The fact that you would even put such a projection of blame, of ownership outside of you, and then on top of that to your creator, is showing the level of insanity that you're working with down here because you forgot who you are. And you're anthropomorphizing God. Earlier, when we talked about God, remember what they said, the word they, the creators, they. Oh, there's more than one. You tell me, right? If we're living in a fractal universe where we're just at every level is just a reflection of what was on another level, who's the creator? You're down here living your best or worst life. Who's the creator? We know that you and your creator are one, but the creator is greater than you, because look where you are right now, deep in the S word, sleep, forgetfulness, so that you can have this experience. So this is why we say waking up means realizing, if you're going to be deep in sleep and you're blaming and blaming, that's why when you see someone who does a lot of blaming, they're very reactive and they're all about blaming other people, and they're always finding other people being the problem about why things can't be. You already know that they're working at a certain level of the field that you probably want to surpass, and they're going to surpass at some point as well. And so your job today, whoever you are, Spirit is leveling you up. Today's 12/12 portal, by the way. And the leveling up, to summarize, is moving you from this false state of duality to remembering your oneness. Look at all this. Look at all these. Look at all these cards. Royal cards. Remember who you are. Gratitude. We thank the Creator, the Most High, for what He has given us. And He has given us everything and denied us nothing. So much so that we're even allowed to be down here forgetting stuff and then turning it back on the creator and blaming the creator. The creator is not even paying attention to us, because as far as we're concerned, as far as the creator is concerned, we're talking nothingness. We're making mouth movements, but nothing's coming out of our mouth because it's not the truth. Okay? The truth. The truth has substance. If it has no truth, it has no substance. It's like the smoke. And we realize, oh, there was never a bunny. And while we're in here, we're like, what do you mean there's no bunny? I'm bunny. But when, that's because of where you are, your level of perspective right now. You keep thinking. If you're looking at me and you're like, oh, there's Jonelle, you're still in it, right? So anyway, get to work focusing on oneness. And whatever practice you're doing, whether you're a practitioner, a healer, a writer, a teacher, a bricklayer, unemployed, or whatever, a dreamer, whatever you are, you have it within you to still cultivate oneness and to shift your perception. So when you're out here thanking God, start shifting it. Yeah, thank God that it was that next household, not me, because wow, I need to be a better person because you've given. cut with all that. Thank you, God, that you created all of us, your children, that we may play in whatever ways that we want around this universe. The universe is a playground that we may play and experience and all this. And thank you so much that the reality of what we are can never change and has not changed. There is no separation. Thank you for that. But down here, we forgot that and we're running amok. But thank you for letting us play. Thank you for being with us in everything we do. Thank you for helping us to reestablish awareness so that here I am on this little horse that I can finally one day look up and see that, and then look and see my similarity, and then start to really be on my path of understanding what I am, step into my divinity, start living in alignment with truth, spiritual law, right? Spiritual law reminds us that everything is consciousness, everything is mind. Everything that I see outside of me is just a reflection of what I believe to be true about myself. So I must have an I am self concept, I am source, I am divinity that is in alignment with what I really am, my truth, so that when I look outside of me, I will see my truth reflecting back at me. And then when I see that and I see what I am, I will speak and vibrate in alignment with my truth. So I will speak and vibrate in alignment with my divine self, my Christ consciousness, my God within, my whole self, my factory settings, my sonship, whatever you want to call it, my spark of divinity. And then when I move about the space, I move in alignment with the cycles that are in alignment with what I am, right? And when I take action out there, I act in alignment, in accordance with what I am. My divinity. I'm not out here acting like a beggar, like a victim, like a this and that. That's not me. Like someone who's despairing. That's not me. I may be experiencing a little despair or crash out anger, depression, whatever it is, or whatever it is, but I'm not going to sit here and make the mistake and believe that's me, let alone continue to make movements out in the world that is founded upon that. No, because that's not me. So why am I acting like that? I'm not a thief. Why am I stealing this from someone? That's not me. So I need to act in alignment with that. I see polarity everywhere I look. Everywhere I look, I see polarity. I know there's light and dark. I get it. What else? Doesn't change what I am, right? I know things in this on this planet live and die. I know things are impermanent, but that doesn't change what I am. I know what I am. I'm eternal. I'm not confused. So spirit is asking you to understand that it's time to awaken to higher consciousness, and higher consciousness requires you to recognize the truth. The truth is there is no duality. There's oneness. So shift your ideas about gratitude. Thank God that everybody has access to everything. Every soul in creation has access to everything and has been denied nothing. When you see people experiencing certain states of being, you don't know why that is. It could be soul curriculum. It could be lessons they want to learn. It could be whatever. And trust me, the reasons are many. But you don't have to buy into all of that. You're here to be a leader. Lead the way. Giving and receiving, they're not different. How could it be different if everything outside of you is you? If you give me something, you don't lose something. If I give you something, you don't gain anything. You are eternally having access to everything. Your cup is eternally brimming. So if you're already brimming and I pour something in there, the most it can do is overflow and even just give to everybody. Stop believing in lack. Oneness cannot have a state of lack. If you're one, that means you're everything. That means you have everything. The problem is when people start dreaming of lack, meaning they get just a little idea of lack inside, whether it's I don't have enough, whether I'm not enough, whether God doesn't love me, I was abandoned, the prodigal son. What prodigal son? He never left. Where is he going to go? How could anyone leave God using that metaphor? Where is there to go? Source is everything. It's not some sky daddy or look this guy's like it's not me. I'm just, I don't know, I'm just sitting here. Thank you, sir, right? It's not some human, it's not some little persona that gets mad at you. And if you're out there listening to people with doctrines and whoever, even people on YouTube, people who are talking to certain whatever beings or reading certain books, or, we got to do religious things, whatever, whoever comes to you, myself included, if you start hearing them talk to you about any overarching energy, whether it's God or whatever, and they start applying emotions that are low frequency, immediately stop listening. Immediately. Because to get to those low frequencies, those low emotions, the anger, the grief, the shame, the this and that, we're not talking about the Most High anymore. We're not talking about the Creator. Yes, the Creator has, created all that is. But remember, there's distortion in here. You think your Creator is going to be angry with you because of something you did or said in some rando lifetime? It doesn't work that way. Then you start having to look at who's telling you this, the human being in front of you, who's telling you this. They likely don't know themselves. I don't care how long you've spent with how many books and how many doctrines and how many initiations and how many this and how many that. Show me what you're saying. Show me your energy. Instead of being here telling me about something you shouldn't be doing, let's build something together that's inclusive, right? Look at people's choices. What are they choosing to do? If you give everybody 10 minutes, what would somebody do with that 10 minutes? Would they spend it trying to convince you to be something other than you're not? Is that thing they're trying to do for your own good to put you in line? Is it something that gets you instead to look at yourself as more than whatever people are telling you? Is it something that asks you to see yourself through the eyes of love? What are we talking about? Who are we listening to? The age of Aquarius asks us to stop and take a breathe, take a breath, I guess. Take a look, freeze frame, take a look around you. Look around you. Look around you. Remember that show? What's the Science Theater or something? Look around you. Who are all these actors in your reality? What are they bringing you? Are they bringing you value? Are they wasting your time? Are they lost? Do they know what they're talking about? What are they talking about? Some of these people you wouldn't even trust to look after your dog for a weekend. Why are you buying into what they're saying? Why are you buying into what they're selling? Why are you letting them label you? Why are you letting them give you choices when neither of those choices have anything to do with you? Stop over-identifying with things. Don't over-identify with any label you find in mainstream media, in any label you find in marketing, in any label you find in religion, in any label you find on the side of a bus, in any label you find in Jonelle's videos, in any label anywhere. Stop over identifying with anything, because the reality is there's only one. And then you're having this beautiful, individuated, very unique experience. The world needs you to do what? Complete it. Okay. We're all here on this planet having these little soul frequencies. Why do you want to waste any more time being something that one of these other little lost parts of you, let's put it, God bless, including your favorite Janelle Dean, right? Is telling you to be, when you could be focusing on being the best you. That's, if you don't live up to the best you as the creator, has supplied through you, then now we're missing a certain tone or frequency or perspective on the earth that we need. Nobody else can do that because you are specially formulated to do that, be that. So spirit is saying, do you. I paraphrase that. Let your freak flag fly. Do you, boo boo? Right? But you have to, in doing you, you have to recognize with discernment what is you and what is not you. We talked about this in the last video. I think, yeah, last video. Was it yesterday video or 2 days ago? Last week's video, I don't know. And what did we say? If you're feeling certain energies and emotions, that's not the real you. Yeah, of course you're going to feel despair because look at you. Look at your trauma lifetime. Look at your other lifetimes. Of course, you're going to feel a certain way. Yeah, we get it. We get it. We can connect the dots. But don't sit here and try to argue and say that that's the real you. That's not the real you. As we said, that's a byproduct of what? The programming, really? That you've been carrying in your mind all these lifetimes. This is what we're here to heal. And we need you on the front lines so that you can help other people. Now, how do you help other people? You don't do it by proselytizing. You do it by embodying your truest self, your reality. And that creates the vibration. Look at the hall. That creates the vibration of divinity. In other words, if you're watching this video, Spirit is saying, hey, you made it. You made it where? I don't know, here, to this level of awakening or awareness, to this corner of all that is. And that means your vibrational match, wherever it is, wherever we can find it on the spectrum, up and down, in the vibrational spectrum, up or down, right? But here, what we're saying it's time to become more you, the real you, the true you, the one that recognizes your oneness in all. That's a pretty freaking high place to be. Okay. But it requires you to renovate the rest of your mindset. Think of this as a nice little injection of reality. And when you start to step more into this awareness of oneness, AKA of what you are, AKA your true identity, AKA your true self, AKA your real self concept, AKA your I am consciousness, AKA your Christ consciousness, AKA your whole self, right? You get it. Look, she's like holding it. When you recognize that, it must turn the world you see around you on its head. You no longer thank God that, but for the grace of God, there go you. Wow, I'm really lucky because that could have been my place, and I'm thankful that it's not. Instead, thank God for, first of all, you don't even look at all that, and you look at other people around you for what they truly are, which is a child of God, a fragment of the divine, a spark of the divine, just like you. You know, namaste, the light within me recognizes the light within you. So let's namaste and look at the light. Look at that other person as a sovereign being, a co-creator being, just like you, because they are you. They don't remember. Shoot, we're struggling to remember. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. We're going to go crazy down here until we wake up. And waking up reminds you of what you are. That's it. Giving and receiving, same thing. When I give to myself, I also receive. When I receive, it goes right through me. We talked about this, the glass. You're a cute little glass. When the light flows through you, it flows through you. Wow, someone gave it to you and you received it, and immediately it was given away. Now that's when the glass is functioning properly. When you are working with true perception and not blocked up in your auric field with all these false programmings. Well, I better hoard everything because if I don't, then I won't have, and it comes, it can't go through you. Look at the people who are teaching you spiritual stuff, Gnostic stuff, religious stuff, educational stuff, agricultural stuff, whatever stuff people are trying to share with you. How are they with giving and receiving? Okay. Look at what they're working with, because we all have it within us to be our true selves. This lifetime is not going to be recognized for a lot of people, but we can still usher through. We can still make headway. We can still embody. We can still model goodness. Be a role model. And you do that by exemplifying what it means to be receptive to divine consciousness. Can you work with divine frequency? Or are you too stuck in being petty? Pettiness will keep you outside of the gates of anything, because it's when you're being petty, for example. Look, we all feel it. Look, we all want to be petty LaBelle at times. We all want it, but that's the emotion. I feel this pettiness rising up within me. And, I'm going to process it in whatever I need to do, whether it's my ecstatic dance, whether it's tapping, whether it's journaling, whether it's talking to a therapist, whatever I have to do to transmute that energy and clear it. I got to do that because I see it. It's arising, but I'm on that oneness track. So I know I'm not going to sit here and pump myself full of fake ideas and for even 1 minute to identify with this pettiness. That's not me, because God cannot be petty. I cannot be petty. God can't fail, so I can't fail. So why am I going to be here breaking my own heart and lying to myself that I'm a petty person? I'm not a petty person, because that's not what I am. That's a byproduct of some mindset that I still have going on inside me. And how do I know that I still have false beliefs inside me? Because I'm feeling the pettiness. If I don't have it within me to be at that low vibration anymore, in other words, if I don't have little belief patterns and unhealed things in my energy field, my mindset actually, that could allow for me to get to that vibration of pettiness, then I wouldn't feel it. It wouldn't exist to me. It'll pass right over my household. They'll pass right over me. I don't even know petty people because I'm not a vibrational match for it. But yeah, here I am, being petty, feeling petty, turning on the TV and watching stories about being people being petty and laughing at it, because there's a vibration inside of me that makes me, there are thoughts and stuff in my mindset that make me believe, or that allow me, that leave me susceptible to believing or to vibrating this petty signal. I don't want to be a petty signal. And in reality, I can't be one. So if I can't be petty, but yet I'm feeling petty and maybe even doing petty things, but I can't be it because of what God created me to be, then there has to be an explanation. Number one, it's not me. Number two, I'm choosing to be not me. So I need to choose to get back to myself. So when we talk about understanding self-concept, we talk about choosing to be yourself. Be yourself, be yourself. Everybody says be yourself. And then the world tries to teach you what your self is, and they give you false self-concept. Why? To keep you controlled, to keep you in line, to keep you out of what? The truth. What is the truth? You are the truth. The truth is you are source, having a temporary experience of individuation in this dualistic plane. And on top of that dualistic universe, and on top of that, within this dualistic universe, you're experiencing an earth lifetime. And in this earth lifetime, you have a personality and a body, and you've got emotions, one of the hallmarks of earth incarnations, of the human species. Some of you remember being other species, and good for you. But here you are right now as a human species. You're emotional. How do you transcend the human, what's the word? Evolutionary track. Human evolutionary tracks. That's that third dimension stuff. Everybody out here is trying to get to fourth dimension and fifth dimension and God knows where else. Once you leave this third dimensional space, you start going into non-physical. So you can't be in fifth dimension and be physical. right? But you signed up for this course, and let's doggone it, you have to finish it. So you're going to be living in the physical plane, but you don't have to be walking around like you have no sense in your mind. This is where the mastery comes in. Every time I say mastery, I do this because it's like mastery. This is where the mastery comes in. The mastery comes in with recognizing what you are. That's the beginning of awakening. Now you're already there. You've got the little cute little pentacle in your hand. Now you've got to work with it. Recognize what it means to be your true self. It means you are one. That means you have access to everything. And that means that you can, from regular standards, regular material standards, work seeming miracles. You can work seeming magic, whatever, just by shifting your mindset down here. That means the laws of this plane do not control you. When you step into your divine consciousness, that mindset that the powers of that be want to keep you out of because you're too powerful. When you start to identify with what you are instead of identifying with these false labels from this planet and this false victim mentality and this false everything and this God fearing and no, that's false learning. It's false light, false learning. With God, there is no fear. What would you be fearing, right? Only love is real. We will understand that. Only love has substance. Fear and everything is just like the smoke. When we say the end, it disappears. So stop fearing what is not you. Embrace the oneness. Reinforce your identity. So moving forward, when I say, what are you? I am the son of God, the daughter of God. I am source, having an individuated experience. I am that I am. I am all that is, experiencing a little slice of the pie. I am love, right? And then we move in alignment with that. And when we get tempted to believe otherwise, in other words, when our minds shift from being in the proper self concept, real, authentic, true I am, sovereign state of being, to get an invitation to believe something else like that you're a victim, that you're not good enough, that you'll never find a job, that you'll never find a husband or wife, that no one will ever respect you, that your dreams are never going to come true, that all this stuff, wow, all of that is not you. Those are the thoughts, the little emanations, the thoughts that arise from a mind that has been corrupted. Okay? And that sits firmly in the I am not. So when we view from a higher perspective, we recognize, we're looking at Bunny on the ground. Bunny finally reached his I am consciousness. Oh boy, here comes his ex-wife coming back into the picture. Oh God, now he's back in his I am not. Oh God, now he keeps seeing himself as that traumatized, blah blah blah, the victim, and now he's going back to her. This is how spirit's just like, okay, I am or I am not. Where are we at? Let's get back to the I am. Let's get to the I am and hold on to it. Hold on to it, cultivate it every day. Yeah, I just got angry with that guy at the car wash. But and I'm going to do my due diligence right now, spiritual hygiene, to really transmute that energy, work through it. We have many lovely modalities on this planet. Thank you to so many people so many souls who have come in and shared that with us. But I'm not going to sit here and believe for a second that I'm an angry person. I know what I am. I'm source. I'm an emanation. I'm a spark of the divine. I have God within. I am. And what I am cannot feel anger. So that right there, that angry part with all the right, with all the right logic and it makes sense. And wow, everyone wants to donate to my GoFundMe now because they can even see that this was an unjust place and I have right to be angry. That's not me. That's not the real me. That's part of the ego. That's the persona, but it's not really me. How can it be me? It's not me. And while, last year I could be basking in that and really be the winner here on this planet because I have a story that everybody relates to and it makes me, and they understand. So I'm the right one. I'm on the right side of history. No. No. Yeah, we could be about that story if we want to get ahead in this world and maybe have a grade of a letter C. But if you're out here trying to get that A plus plus and you're trying to retrieve high frequencies and to move it with higher frequency and to help people in that higher way, you got to get rid of the false personality. That's not you. So aren't you even a little bit more curious about the gifts and the true joys and the real goals and all of that, the real service and the real impact that you can have on this planet when you actually get into the driver's seat of yourself? Yeah. So funny. I'm sorry, I'm listening to my team. They're so funny. Okay. um, that's what spirit is out here proposing. So if you start to see a lot of oneness information coming into you, look at it. Let your team let it land. They're so funny. Let your team help you. Your team's like, help us, help you, right? Your spirit team. They're watching you watch this. Yes, you. They know. They know. They know. They know. They know. Now you may be like, but why me? Because you asked for it. They're not out here with the false, I'm just a victim. No, you are a sovereign co-creator being, multidimensional, temporary forgetfulness state. You came down here. You asked us to tap you on the shoulder this time. Here's the tap on the shoulder. You asked for direction. Here's the direction. Lean into oneness doctrine. Lean into the Christ consciousness. This has nothing to do with religion. We've said it many times on this channel. This has to do with you recognizing that you are far greater than whatever you would emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever, think about yourself. Because all that old stuff is programming. So make way for your true self to come through. But we need you to embody, we need you to align with this belief. We're here to establish and install this belief of yours that is your reality so that you can be what? A vibrational match to what? Your true energy. And that's when you really start to feel initiated and secretity overcome you and all sorts of stuff when your gifts start to awaken because now spirit says, oh, you're hitting frequencies. A bell goes off somewhere. Oh, oops, we got another person ready to step into real spiritual service because they've reached their real potential. They can be entrusted with real assignments that will have real impact, and we need them. And so when you do that, you will be able to really demonstrate what you can do, right? And you start by shifting the way you see certain things. We told you how to shift gratitude to reflect oneness amongst all. We told you how understanding, giving, and receiving are the same thing because we're all one. What about forgiveness? Down here, we're like what is it? To err is human, to forgive is divine, right? No. True divinity says forgive what? There's nothing to forgive. Because what? Because we see that all these souls are the son of God or child of God or daughter or whatever you want to use. They just need correction in their mindset. They didn't do anything wrong. Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. I mean, even just historically speaking, right? Don't project feelings and emotions of rage and anger and discontent and upset onto God, the creator. That's not, and if you're, again, locating in history and historical doctrines and all this stuff, any gods or deities or devis or deva, whatever people are talking about, or ascended masters, if you're seeing them carry these low frequencies of condemnation, judgment, all of that, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're mislabeling. And when you start to mislabel, that means you're tuning into a vibration. You're looking for a God to fear. You're looking for a God to worship. You're looking for a God to pass judgment and to punish and smite. You're looking that you're off the path by that time because you're aligning with the belief that that is real. That's not real. God is love. God is love. God is love. God is love. That's it. That's it. And so when you tune yourself to have that assumption and that expectation, what you're actually doing is you're conditioning your energetic field to be receptive to the true frequencies of what God is, to the exclusion of all the distortion around it. Don't sit here and let the world label you a race, an identity, a sexual orientation, a creed, or whatever, a nationality. That's stuff for some regular earth stuff. If you're here to be about something that is beyond, so that you can be a vibrational match to it and then work within the world to shift that, you have to embody it first. Then you realize that what you are has no label. So then you start to realize this is a top-down mentality, by the way. You start with what you are and you let your mindset be healed by that. And then when you look upon the world, you realize people are insane. I'm just joking. No, myself included, right? You look in the world and you realize, oh my God, a lot of people are lost. They are running around in circles. How do you know? Because they're fighting each other. They're grappling for power. They're dispossessing each other. And you know what the kicker is? At a certain level of perception, when you really see what you are and you understand that, you look at these others, yourself, it's just you observing yourself inside. But when you look at these others and you see that they are fighting themselves and they don't realize it, right? So this is what the guides have, this idea, this what's the word, analogy I'd used, I think it was like last year in one of the transmissions that I brought through. When spirits, when we're referred to down here as insane from a higher perspective, it's not a negative thing at all. It's just forgive them, Father, because they out there, they don't know what they're doing. And a really good analogy is if you're walking through an asylum, God bless, and you look through a window. We've all, seen this in movies or maybe in real life, I don't know. You look through one of the doors, the windows of a door of a cell, and you see somebody just talking to themselves. They're probably padded up because they're seeing a whole world that is just not there, right? This is how spirit from these higher levels looks at the human consciousness as it is on this planet right now. So if you're watching this video, spirits reaching. They're reaching you and they're recruiting right now for higher service. Higher service requires that you see yourself for what you are, that you understand reality as one, and that you really start to embody that, cultivate that, shift your ideas, like we said, the gratitude and the giving and receiving and forgiveness, we were saying. That's another false concept. It's helpful in the world here because, it's a gift in a sense because it helps people who can't forgive, but that's not the end game. The end game is recognizing there is no forgiveness. Forgiveness itself is not a real concept, just like giving and receiving isn't a real concept, right? How could these be real concepts? Duality is not a real concept. Separation is not a real concept. How could these be real concepts when it's just one? How could you, why would you need, why would God need to forgive you for something when you can't do wrong? The stuff that you see going on down here is a byproduct of a mind that needs healing. That's why we're here on this planet, to help heal our minds and to help others heal, because we're lost. This is a sleeping, lost in the dream, right? The creator doesn't recognize what's in the dream because whatever's in the dream, the creator didn't make. The creator does look and see you acting and doing all these things, but that's not the real you with all this other stuff. And anything that you do to yourself and each other and stuff, that's not really happening. But we can't see it because it feels so real in this physical plane. And so, is it any surprise that God would send reinforcements, whether you're earth angels, light workers, mission life entities, visionary leaders, whatever term people use, mission workers, right? I like to say mission workers. We send them in to help clear up the distortion, to help heal. But just like any great information, we see all these beautiful religions that are here now. You don't think that what was given onto the planet was so beautiful, but has lost most of its value because of all the human hands it's passed through? Look at all our technologies that come through here. You don't think that these technologies, atomic energy, artificial intelligence, even other scientific discoveries, ammunitions, guns, and these things, you don't think they could be gifts? But look whose hands they were in. It's the mindset. So this is why we're here. We have to take care of the consciousness on this planet so that when God gives us gifts, and when we are given to each other, even, that we can take care of it. And so that's why it starts with you, and it starts with your mindset. That's what we're here to get you to do. So if you're watching this video, then you are being asked, it's kind of like it, yeah, being asked to bring this consciousness, higher consciousness, divine consciousness into your everyday practice. And understand that, yes, even as you help people to forgive and you use forgiveness and all sorts of stuff, you, the one connecting with source at this level, that you recognize that there's nothing that anyone needs to be forgiven for. They're just working with mistakes in reasoning, and we're just here to help make corrections in perception, like this video. That's it. And that doesn't require judgment. It doesn't require $1 million. It doesn't require any kowtowing. It doesn't require worship. It doesn't require any of that. It doesn't require shame. It doesn't require guilt. It doesn't require any of those emotions. In fact, the only thing that we should really be saying is, wow, thank you, God, that we have a way. That's it. God's not out here asking you to bend any 10 knees or to, no. So start with that internal space and watch things really start to be put into proper perspective in your life. When you look at tithing, for example, it's based off of a spiritual principle. You give, you receive, period. That's it. It doesn't require you to always give up 10% of whatever you have and that to curry favor with anybody and to this and that. No, it doesn't require that at all. So this is a call to work with that oneness. Recognize yourself, understand yourself as divinely loved, divine consciousness. So what we're teaching today is how to align with divine frequencies. Over your lifetime, you've been leveling up and aligning with higher and higher and higher and higher frequencies. And we're just going to continue to keep doing that throughout our lifetimes. But this isn't your first rodeo. Obviously, if now spirit is, oops, sorry, I keep playing with this microphone. I'm so sorry. This isn't your first rodeo, right? So over lifetimes, you've been leveling up and up and up and up and up and up, expanding your consciousness, working through your spirituality, taking on more and more, self-reflecting, healing. And now spirit is saying, let's go, right? And do so with love. is what they're saying. Wow, that was a lot. um, ooh, let's have a sip of this. A lot of a lot of self love and self confidence. Spirit said we wouldn't give you this mission if you couldn't do it. So if some of you are like, but am I doing it? You were already doing it, and you've likely trained for quite a few lifetimes to do it. You don't just wake up one day and have a certain level of consciousness. You don't just wake up one day and quit smoking. Yes, we've seen that happen, but that's lifetimes in the making. Okay, because it's never about the smoking. It's about the belief that was hidden deeply within, some core belief that maybe that person's been working on for a couple lifetimes, and then one day whatever that belief is shifted, and the way it manifested for them was, wow, I just woke up one day and said I don't want to smoke again, and I never haven't touched it in 46 years. And we're like, whoa, tell us your secret. Know thyself. Shadow work. That's all. What are we going to say? Pray, ask spirit, have a loving spirit. Spirit is saying, oh, and something my grandmother said in spirit, because God bless, yeah, mediumship, I guess it helps. But she said 2 days ago, which we've heard this before, but I think I needed to hear it. And then I was reminded again yesterday, is relationships come and go, but the relationship that you have with yourself lasts forever, right? And of course, whenever we receive information from spirit, it's always on time, it's always timely. And from spirit, for real spirit, not talking about these distortion astral entities and all that, from real spirit with loving intentions, it always can be shared in some way. I just shared it with you. I could have written it down for someone else. I could have blogged it. I could have whatever, right? If that's not tithing, what is? Tithing, going back to that example, is just a reflection of what we said. When you're really accepting something God has given you, you give it away. I'm not saying, wow, you just won $1 million. Let me go straight to, some organization, give all of it away. That's foolhardy, right? That's foolhardy, unless that's your specific assignment. But that's not something God would ask you to do, for example, right? If you receive something, of course you ask spirit how you can use what has been given to you in service, and then you let spirit work through you, right? And that's the principle that underlies tithing. Like we said with the glass, when you receive something, well, okay, it's received, but have you accepted it? There's only one way we know if you've accepted something God has given you, it's able to pass right through you. And the reason why is because that's why we're pushing you have to embody this knowledge, this frequency first, embody it, so then it can be given through you. God works through you. Everything works through you because that's what humans are. We're vessels in a sense. And that's why you have to be mindful of who you serve and what you serve. That's why this idea about idols, I don't even need any religious talk about that. It's just simple. Human beings are hardwired to serve things in many ways. It's very easy to corrupt the human mind. All you have to do is tempt them. They're the vices, right? Temptations. Convince them that what they need is something you have. And now you've got people feeling they need to buy the next new Jordans, or feeling they need the next new whatever, and then fighting wars about these things. This is all false programming. You have to guard your mind. And it starts by recognizing what you are. As a child of God, what lack could you have? What could you possibly lack? There are people in the most lacking places on earth, maybe can't even eat more than one meal a day, if much. And some of those people will be the most spiritual minded people you've met. You'll be like, how are you so happy? And every time you meet you, you're joyful and you're infectious, your energy, you uplift this whole village, and they'll say, because I'm not lacking in anything. And you'll be like, sir, Sir, look at you. You got no shoes. You're walking this place. There's no running water, just no whatever. And he'll just look at you like you fell off a turnip truck because you're looking at the wrong things altogether. Because he knows when you have source, when you have love, when you have those high frequencies, what could you lack? Period. It's when you keep believing that you're lacking in something, and they're talking to me too, mute my Taurus moon, then you feel that you're lacking in something. What does that do? It leaves you open. It, first of all, it shifts you from your I am, boom, into your I am not. Because now you forgot you forgot you had everything. Because what did God give us? Everything. You forgot you had everything you need. And so now you're out here looking for something. And as they say, the devil makes work for idle hands. And I'm not talking about get out of the religious talk if that's triggering somebody like, oh no, no. What I'm trying to say is stop with the lacking. If you're having feelings and this and that, we understand it's the byproduct of all this programming, this trauma, this blah, 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 blah. Underneath all that, you have been carrying lack consciousness, period. And that is the bridge that you walk to cross from your I am awareness, your divine self concept, into boom, false self concept. And from that false self concept comes the world around you, you see. And so the way out is back where you came, Spirit is saying. And that's why we are here to help people to stop the bleeding, so to speak, to stop the false believing and to make their way back home. How do you make your way back home? You get back to self love, period. You must remember what you are. And so here you, the teacher, you guys are here to teach. You don't do the work for people, you embody it. And that makes you a vibrational match because whatever you believe to be true about yourself is what you will vibrate out into the world. And that is what the universe will respond back to you in form because we're here on this planet. And so please, 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 and we'll maybe see if there are any more cards that want to come on, and then we'll call it a day. But please, 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 please watch your mindset. And if you want to help others, you have to help yourself first. Okay? Let spirit come through and let them work through you to shift some mindsets. Okay? Okay. They're also talking to me. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a moment and we're going to bring in a couple energies. So if you're still interested, if you're still here, hi, hello. God is good. Thank you, God, that we have been given everything and we have been denied nothing. And that's something you can tell yourself even as you look down the barrel of nothing in your bank account and all sorts of stuff. And trust me, I've been through. Okay, so I'm not just randomly saying these lofty things. Spirit has to convince me first before it could even pass through these lips. All right, let's take a moment, take a couple minutes, maybe only 5 minutes. Thank you. And we're just going to work through some of you guys, do some clearing work because we were just doing some deprogramming there. We're also going to do some clearing work. Okay. Thank you. Some of you may be feeling some water elements coming in, clearing, clearing, clearing. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you guys for trusting us. That's what they're saying. We're working in the lower chakras right now. Lower feelings, they're saying as well. Some of you are getting treatments in the heart space, throat space. I'm getting I'm getting a headache from somebody here. Either you have one or someone in particular, and this is nobody, no one needs to be worried about this, but someone here, I think as a result of this treatment, you may get a headache primarily on the right side of your head. And don't worry, Spirit is saying that it's interesting, but is these frequencies are coming in for you. It's almost at the top right of your, like your right hemisphere, let's just put it that way, in your cranial area, skull area. I'm seeing like a lot of lightning and thunder. It's like the last vestiges. Like it's almost like you have like so much going on there. Now we're gonna introduce a little bit of healing for that one person in particular, because that does seem to be related to their physical brain as well. So they're just going to do a little work there to give you some energetic support. Ah, got it. Thank you. Whatever that was. Spirit, I'm seeing what they extracted. It looks like a sliver of something like about this long, almost like pulled out from there. Like think about the thorn in the paw of a lion, how like everything, is just throbbing and everything. And they had to pull it out. Little mouse pulled it out. So we just pulled that out of somebody. Oh, yes. I just heard some of you saying, can you pull any for mouse too? Yeah, we will. Okay, we gotcha. Mm. I'm feeling some of you here maybe inundated by some past racial remarks that you've had to endure and stuff. Spirit is saying, let it go. Okay. They're like, you're beyond that. Let it go. Because it's understandable to have that. Trust me, I know, to have those feelings, but they're saying you're beyond that because you with the consciousness you're stepping into, you recognize that you're not a race. Number one. Just like dogs don't, no one's like, I'm a poodle and you're a Dachshund. Like no one's out here on that. You're not a race. And you even if you were, like, that's so immature for somebody to even use that as something to hurt you. It's just so laughable. Spirit is saying, don't waste your time, because it also triggers your victim consciousness, all that. So just throw it all out. It's trash, is what Spirit is saying. And that's how they're saying we want you to walk this earth. If you want, imagine the Dalai Lama. If you, some of you may, I mean, I don't know, some people find him controversial. Doesn't matter. Spirit's using his energy here for this message. Imagine him walking the earth and someone hurling a racial epithet toward him, and he does get a lot of it because um, he already gets a lot of that for political reasons. But anyway, what's he gonna? Is he gonna? Is that gonna bother him? You see what I mean? When you're at a certain frequency of light, thank you, Spirit. They're not. It's not a concern to you anymore. You're beyond that. You're focused elsewhere. You can be focused on the problem, or you can be focused on the solution. The solution will always look like being in the receptive state so that you could receive and then allow to be worked through you. So that's why when you're actually working for Spirit, you're not actually doing anything. You're being receptive to the solution, and the solution passes through you. And in the passing through you, like this glass, in the transmission through you, you are animated, you are moved. So when we say, Dear God, make me an instrument of your peace, please move me, God, so that I may do A, B, C, and D. Do what is in your will. Please, God, let your will be worked through me. All of this is just fancy, lovely language to reflect an energetic thing that's happening. So you're becoming a vibrational match to God, that the highest frequencies that you can take in your physical vessel. And the way that you unlock that ability and that you are able to serve that is by doing what? It's BY. Be yourself. Because what are you? You are God. But step down. You and your creator are one, but your creator is greater than you because you didn't make yourself. You're the child of the creator. You're a creation of the creator. But other than that, you're a vibrational match. And so Get back into alignment, please, is what Spirit is saying. And you do so by remembering what you are, understanding that what you are requires you to then change the way that you view or define certain things. We listed a few. Uh, what did we list? We listed forgiveness. We understood separation is not a reality, right? We looked at how giving and receiving shifts in definition as well. Even we looked at tithing, how that's just one manifestation of this idea of giving and allowing energies to move through you. We looked at a few things. And so Spirit is asking you to step it up. Now, to wrap this up, you may wonder, well, why are we? Oh, thank you, first of all, to the guides for coming through and helping shift us. Thank you, guys. Thank everyone. Now, you guys, to wrap up, you may be wondering, well, why, Jay, are you telling us all this stuff right now? And I want to remind you that a couple months ago, I don't know if it was in April, but remember I said that Spirit was going to be initiating again on my channel, because I mean, Spirit does that through you and everybody in their own way. But on my channel, obviously, we have the name school, and so I guess they're going to bring through stuff, right? But on my channel, they were saying, through me, they were saying, through me, the channel, thank you, they were saying that they were going to be training people and initiating people, and to use their words in particular, that there would be people who would be apprenticing with me. And I don't know if you watched the video when I told you guys that, but I was like, oh, that's news to me. So, okay, well, let's see. And I didn't know how it would come about because, you know, your girl busy. Okay, sorry. Sorry, everyone. But I was like, how is this gonna happen? And so then I noticed that they just keep bringing through this information whenever I press play. And so obviously they're training people now. And one of the things that I do as my part of my soul mission is to help people who are here to lead other people to, it's like leaders of leaders. So that's a bit of a distinction, but anyway, that's what I'm telling you. And notice what I just said, that was my low self-worth coming in, like, who the hell are you? And I had to reinforce that. I feel the feelings of low self-doubt, low self-worth and stuff, but that's not me. Instead, I'm going to get back to what I am, which is, you know, a divine child of God. And I'm talking about the mission work, the role, the function that Spirit has asked me to do at this time. And I'm not going to mince words about it, right? So if you're listening to this, you're here to lead other leaders. And those leaders are going to help the masses, so to speak. But that means that I have to do my inner work and embody this so that I can share it with you. You have to continue doing your inner work and embody it so that you can share it with others, however that is. It's all by vibration, right? And then the people you share it with have to do their inner work and embody it and accept it so that the people that are serving there can find them. This is about becoming a vibrational match / a magnet for people to find. Now, people are going to want this energy. Why? Because it's home. It's the energy of home. It's truth. It's source. It's not your energy. It's God's energy, which is your energy. And that energy from God flows through all of us because we're one. Why I said it's not your energy is because I want to distinguish this true self that you are from this personality self. And sometimes getting a handle on the personality and its shortcomings and all of this is very hard, right? We choose our personalities very, very carefully, by the way. So we love these personas that we've taken on, whatever, but don't get it confused. It's not what you are. And so anyway, the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because Spirit is training you so that you can step into some higher service here. Spirit wants to give you something. Now, interesting, look at this card, the Nine of Swords, but look at this person fighting something off. The thing that Spirit wants to share with you and to have you have shared through you, they're saying is already within you. It's the God within. It's your spark, your source. So you're reclaiming yourself now. But Spirit is reminding you that when you awaken this part of yourself, it is so bright that It's going to be like a beacon. And when it's a beacon, look at these two cards. I want to come in. When it's a beacon, what happens is it calls in the light and the dark. Okay. This doesn't mean you're going to be transferred into some, nightmare on Elm Street or whatever, things chasing you through the night and stuff. No, it just means that there will be a lot thrown your way. That could be a lot of temptation. If you're susceptible to those vices we talked about yesterday, I think I didn't list all seven of them. I think I listed greed and avarice twice. I don't know. But, greed, avarice, no, I did this again. What was it? What were they? Anyway, temptations in general. Look at how this card look. Now look how lost he is already as we're talking about this. Vanity, pride. Let's see. Vanity, pride, greed slash avarice, lust, sloth was the one I think I missed, wrath, and gluttony, right? That's seven of them. And then you have your unhealed trauma wounds and stuff, which act out, which you just, all sorts of stuff. Always remember, those aren't you, though. That's all byproducts of your training, your programming, and all that stuff. So you have to cultivate the ability to recognize when these not you energies approach you like this. Not you energies approach you. In the past, you would not be able to distinguish these from you because you're like, I'm just feeling this way, and I have good reason to feel this way, and because he did this and she did that, and it was unfair, and yes, all of that has a track record here on this planet as being realistic, which is not true, as being formidable and unable to be surmounted, which is not true, as being controlling of you and your vessel and your fate and your reality, which is not true. Spirit needs you to see those things for not true because it's not you. All right. So this is heavy work to, they're saying light work. See how they made a joke? It's work. It's light. It's the light. It's light work. But I was going to say it's heavy work, but this is very strong work in the sense that you have to be very, very firm in what you are, know what you are, and then engage in what A Course in Miracles calls the proper use of denial. The proper use of denial is not to deny that the circumstances around you aren't occurring. You're not denying that you have $0 in your bank account. You're denying the reality of those things to, number one, reflect in any way, shape, and form on the value that you carry. Number two, you're denying those circumstances, the ability for those circumstances to inform you about your potential. You're just denying any form of control that those things could have over you. In other words, you're reminding yourself, I'm not going to idolize this. I'm not going to make this an idol for me. I'm not going to worship this, pour too much time, too much effort, too much anything into it, because the minute I start feeling all these emotions about it and I start currying into it and I start treating it like it's a reality, now I'm shifting from out of what I am. It's not real. It just is. I see this in my bank account. Okay, great. Anything I see outside of me is a manifestation of a past now moment. It's dead meat, dead flesh on a plate anyway. So why am I wasting time with it? Move on and get back to remembering what I am. And of course, feel the feelings as I need to, do the healing work, whatever, but let me be about this. This is how they're saying you are a soldier, a warrior of the light, and soldier for God, or whatever people say. That's what it truly means. That's what it truly means. You defend yourself. And you do that by reinforcing what you are and denying the reality of what is around you to affect you. You're not a victim. You're just feeling away right now. Okay, I see it. It's a byproduct of all these thoughts and stuff that I'm still working, but that's not me. Bye-bye. Back to here. And you keep it pushing. That's how you get out of range, is what they're saying, of these vices and these temptations. Always remember, you're a sovereign, multidimensional co-creator being. And we've said it on this channel many times before. How can you fell a sovereign, multi-dimensional co-creator being? How could you do anything to command it except convince it that it is not what it is? That is the only way you can control this powerful being, whether you want to call it your divine self, your God self. When this being, which is what you are, is truly awakened, the child of God, ooh, what can come against you? Nothing. What God has created, let no man or anything tear apart. Why do you think so many beings, souls, people on this planet are working so hard to keep you out of this awareness? Okay? Let that sink in. So your job is, if you are being called and you are here for wanting to step into this, you need to get it correct. Know what you are, understand what you serve, remember oneness, stop buying into this specialness and this idea that anyone could be more special than another, this idea of division, all of that stuff, because all of that's just going to lead you out of alignment. So this is why it's kind of a big it's a big deal. Okay. But either way, Spirit is saying that we will help you to stay the course, is what they're saying. And the last thing we want to say, look at this, Two of Cups, love it, is that the reason why they're telling you this right now is because there will be more to be received. They're going to be sending you more information. And that more information could literally be more information to share with others. It could be more ideas. It could be a book. It could be new clients, whatever, in whatever line of work you do, whatever it is, it could be that. It could also be special clients, special by Spirit's designation, because there are certain people on this planet, so certain people, because of the role that they'll be playing for Spirit and such, that they need extra protections or they will need certain services done and whatnot. And so you best believe that there are certain protections that come with that. They need you to be in your integrity. All right. Anyway, God bless you guys. Oops, I'm so sorry if I kept hitting this microphone, but I do have to say it was on my sweater and it's so cute. I'm just gonna do it again. Look when you squeeze it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so playful. Anyway, as I was saying, as you were. So thank you so much if you came here to listen. Like, it's weird getting right back to it. Thank you so much if you came here to listen for today. And if you are interested in working with Spirit at this level of the field, or in this capacity, or from this frequency of love, that felt right. If you're interested in working with Spirit from this frequency of love, then please do let them know. And of course, if you would like to work more closely with me, or you need guidance or energy healing or just whatever it is that you need, you know exactly where to find me. I'm at that Etsy link, and that's the only place I conduct business. So if anyone tries to reach out to you in any way, shape, and form, it ain't me. Okay. So God bless you, and yeah, keep up the great work, guys. And now let me go rest my throat after 2 hours of talking. I act like I haven't spent all day like teaching classes before when I was in the classroom. But anyway, God bless you guys, and great job and great work. Bye.